Good morning, Wall Street winners. It is Wednesday, October the 2nd. We are now into the second day of October, and the markets are turning a little bit right now. So, if we were to look at the markets in the futures section of the Bloomberg app, an hour ago, we would have seen everything in the red. And these have come back now where the NASDAQ's actually in the green, not a huge amount, but it is up slightly, which is positive. And the S&P and Dow are not down nearly as much as they were earlier. So I think this is based on the ADP jobs report that came out for private sector jobs. The number of jobs for the last month was higher than expected and estimated, and that is seeming to turn things around a little bit in the market. The other thing that's happening, and this is very coincidental to my video yesterday on the narrative around oil, Israel has vowed retaliation for Iran's missile attack last night. So it does look like this conflict, as I called it, and has been used as a word, is really changing significantly and moving towards a war. And if that is the case, it is going to boost the price of oil pretty quickly and I think pretty significantly. We also had the vice president debate last night between Waltz and Vance, and both of them did a pretty good job. Certainly a lot less rhetoric than we had from the presidential candidates, particularly Donald J. Trump, and some of the outlandish and non-fact-based information that man can share and convince people of. Uh, we also have some other news coming in from Nike last night. So if we take a look at our Yahoo Finance app and scroll down into health and retail, you can see Nike is down almost $6.50. They had good earnings. They missed slightly on revenue, but it was higher than I think a lot of analysts were thinking it was going to be going in. But they've definitely changed and downgraded their future forecast. And they have eliminated their next investor day, which is interesting. So I think a lot of this has to do with the new CEO coming in. They want to give the new CEO some time to get back up to speed, although he is an ex-executive, ex-veteran for a number of years, a long tenure with Nike in the past and a great history with Nike, seeing it through some of its best years and hoping to get those years to come back and really recreate those best years for the company. So not really unlike Microsoft, where Ballmer came in, things didn't go so well. He started to turn it around, but then they kind of dropped off. And then Nutella came in, and Nadella, sorry, came in, and he'd really turned it around, and turned it into the company it is today, Satya Nadella. So it's very similar in that sense, both West Coast based, obviously Portland and Seattle or Redmond. A lot of similarities between the two market leaders, and we'll see what this new executive can do, or this old executive turned new CEO can do to turn things around at Nike. I'm still a long-term believer in Nike. I think if anything, if this opens down $6.50, Nike is an amazing buying opportunity today because if you're willing to hold it for, call it 6 months, because I think you can't go wrong with Nike over a 6-month to 1 year period at the discount that it's at today. Now that said, it may drop further. I wouldn't be surprised if this dropped into the $70 range, probably mid 70s, and maybe bottomed around 74. So you might want to wait for that bottom. But we also could see a bit of a dead cat bounce tomorrow, where it drops today and then recovers a little bit tomorrow. But I don't think 6.5 is where it's going to bottom. I think it's going to bottom further as it opens into the market in just 13 minutes. So here's an interesting one. There's a couple of anomalies these days in the Yahoo Finance app, and not sure where it's coming from, but one of them is looking at Humana in the pre-market down $55. Not really sure what's going on there. It was down $37 yesterday, so clearly not good news coming out for Humana. Haven't had a chance to look into that. The other anomaly is Costco. So if you look at Costco, it says 7 days to earnings. Well, Costco had its earnings last week, so I'm not sure where it's getting this 7 days to earnings in the Yahoo Finance app. But this is definitely incorrect. These earnings have already come out. Maybe that's their investor day, and it's just a glitch in the API and how it's pulling that data from a different source. But that is an odd one. The transport sector, even with the port workers on strike, is still holding up. I mean, obviously, JB Hunt dropped yesterday, almost $3. I'd imagine these stocks will drop again today, so I wouldn't be buying into these just yet. And oil took off yesterday. So oil had a great day. Let's start with crude. I mean, crude was up, I think, $2 to $3 yesterday. I don't know the exact amount. It's up another $2.13 this morning in the pre-market. All of this really based on what's going on with the conflict to soon turn into a regionalized war over there. And that could potentially negatively affect the markets, but it has the ability to positively affect U.S. oil refiners, especially those that don't have a high dependency over in the Middle East right now. So all of these, for the most part, are in the green. And again, looking at Saudi Arabia, I put out a video on this a week or so ago. This is an interesting stock that trades in a very specific range. So you can see that this stock basically moves here from 27.10 to 27.20, and you can make 10 cents probably 30 times a day in this market if you put in limit orders to buy and sell at the different price points. So this would be an interesting one to just play through an automated system where you bought at the low and you sold at the high, and then you just rinsed and repeated all day long as this traded. So that's one of the ones I wanted to point out is the Saudi Arabian oil company. I think it's called Aramco. Don't know there based on the symbol. If we look at tech, so now in tech, we were in the red earlier. We're bouncing back into the green, although a lot of red on the screen here, not as deep in the red as it has been in the past an hour, 2 hours. Palo Alto, so this is an interesting one, 330 and down $12.50 yesterday. So this got hit fairly hard yesterday. Again, no particular reason why. CRM was off about $3. Looks like it's up that in the pre-market, so we'll have to see where that opens and gets to. Microsoft was off $10. So this was a stock that's been sitting pretty steadily at around 430. I think if you are looking to make a $10 spread on this, getting in the 420s might give you that opportunity, because I do think tech's going to come back. ARM finally sold off a little bit. It was down $7 yesterday. I think it's still way overpriced at 136, but if the NASDAQ recovers and we see a movement in the semis in general, then I think ARM will come back and you could be in for a positive upswing on that one today. AMD sold off into the high 150s, just under 160, and I think it has the potential to come back to the 185s by, let's call it November, Thanksgiving, US Thanksgiving of this year. Lam Research was off significantly, under $800. This stock is an absolute steal in my mind. I would be buying more of this or buying call options. There was a great article out yesterday in one of the newsletters I read. I think it was Tip Ranks, and it talked about whether the best purchase would be Lam Research or Supermicro, and they favored to Lam Research, being its proprietary technology and focus in the semiconductor space, and really being a significant provider of the equipment used to manufacture semiconductor wafer chips. We then move down further into some of the others. Tesla is getting beat up this morning and down in the pre-market $12 or around $12. This is due to delivery numbers coming out primarily for its Model 3s that were off and down, but for all of the models. The Tesla Cybertruck deliveries were down. The Semi deliveries were down. I didn't even know they were manufacturing the Semi yet in full production, but those are down. And so that has led that stock to take a bit of a hit there. One that's holding ground and doing well is Meta. So this is just an absolute star, a rock star of a stock, up at 576. I think it's now, I said 550 by mid-October. I'm going to say this stock is likely to hit 600 by mid-October. And I'm a huge believer in Meta. BABA is on a tear, one of the Chinese stocks, obviously with the People's Bank of China introducing some stimulus for the consumers in that economy and helping out in the real estate sector, which has been hard hit as well post-COVID. It is just causing these Chinese stocks to really move significantly higher, looking like we're going to get up into the mid to high teens today in Alibaba. That would be a big move from where this was only a couple weeks ago, down in the low 80s. And then we have NVIDIA off yesterday, but this is going to come back. So if you're looking for, I'm going to call it a 2-month hold and some good returns, I think you're going to find it with NVIDIA. But would I buy NVIDIA right now over Google? No, I would buy Google over NVIDIA. And Google had a great day yesterday. Looks like it's down a little bit in the pre-market. I would get back into Google. I've been in and out of Google quite a bit in the last few weeks, making some buy and sell orders and transactions there. And it's worked out very favorably. Adobe down significantly yesterday, almost $15. I do think there's a lot of value in this stock, and it's just one that's kind of been written off right now, certainly not in the media eyes. But I think it has a lot of potential. There's still some concerns about its AI strategy and what AI is going to do to affect it in the market, but I don't think its impact is going to be that significant. TSM, another stock I love. I own some TSM, and I believe this will get back up. It was 186 just last week. So just a bit of a pullback here, but don't be too concerned. These things are going to come back. And then we have financials. SoFi down in the mid sevens. I love this stock, off 23 cents yesterday. Definitely a steal to pick this up. And then JPM dropped down to 207. That's a buy for me right now. Morgan Stanley, I think, it's still holding ground. So I would not be buying it. I'd be holding it if I owned it, which I do. And I'd be waiting to sell this on earnings up around 106 or 108, which I think it'll get to. I think it's going to climb up towards that pre-earnings, and I might actually sell pre-earnings. We'll have to wait and see what's going on in the greater narrative there. I also bought into some Goldman yesterday in the 488 range, and I think that was a steal. It looks like it's off pre-market $3, so I'll be underwater on that one at the open. But I do believe that financials going through the next 2 weeks leading into their earnings announcement for Q3 will climb. And if they don't climb and they pull back, I believe that they will climb then when earnings are announced and they become positive and they're announced as positive and good future forecasts. So I think there's a lot of upside here. You're either going to see it pre-earnings or you're going to see it post-earnings. So that's where we are on October 2nd. I hope you're enjoying the videos. And if you are, please leave me a like and a comment and subscribe to the channel. Have a great day and good luck with your trades.